My show is called The Conspiracist, and it's sort of a spy action thriller focused on a guy who is a conspiracy theorist, but not a crazy one. He's the kind who gets it right, who really has this preternatural ability to connect disparate details and figure out really what's going on. And he's got a hacker partner who works with him, and in the pilot, they're confronted with a woman who's asking them to help her find her father that the government took. And over the course of this, they find out that she's an alien.
What was that?
Let's go.
Stop now or we will destroy you. You have 3 seconds to comply.
These 3 characters are working together to both help people accomplish things that they're having a problem with and try to stay away from this government conspiracy that's trying to bring them down. What I really like about it is it opened up a lot of possibilities for what to do with the second screen, because it's genre type things in general I think are so information dense, and they have an audience that's so information hungry that you can really dig into giving them other information about the stories that they're talking about, that you can have actual links, actual data. And then from there we're using the second screen narratively to try to figure out how can we help the audience engage in the story, like not use it to distract them from the story, but help them engage in the story. And part of that comes from giving them information that the characters don't know yet, which sort of changes the dynamic there and helps, puts the audience in a different position than the characters. And part of it is giving them even more of the information that the characters do have. Because sometimes they'll be looking at a screen, and usually when you're watching a show, if they're looking at information on screen, that's not the most interesting part. We're looking at the people talking to each other. And so this gives them the option to say, oh, okay, well, if you actually do want to drill down into the information that they're looking at, we'll give them that entire screen to look at too, to be able to pick and find other bits of information that aren't highlighted in the narrative that might be interesting or useful to them. We actually divide in our treatment, we talk about the second screen content. There's synchronous content that you see during it, and then the sort of asynchronous that you could look at anytime, which is like DVD special features. And there's no, for the asynchronous content, there's nothing really new there. It's just bonus features. But the synchronous content is just so very different than anything that you're used to narratively. It really invited a challenge. It was a puzzle. It was a real interesting nut to crack to decide what, at this point in the story, what gives us more. We do a lot with overhead maps. And so I really like the idea that our characters might be there in a building getting in an argument about should we break through this door? And one of them saying, well, no, because there are going to be security guards there. And the other saying, no, they're not going to be security guards there. All the security guards are downstairs. And it's one piece of drama when the viewers don't know the answer to that question. And it's a totally different drama when the viewers do know the answer to that question. So we're giving them the overhead map, and we're giving them the data that the characters don't know. It just, to me, it's a fabulously interesting opportunity to play with that narrative and to just twist it a little bit. Take the same story and just twist it a little bit by giving the viewers this information that the characters themselves don't have. I think the second screen content is inevitable for narratives. It really is. People already, 60 or 80% of the people already have a second screen watching. I know for me, 95% of the time that I'm watching TV, I have a second screen active, either my phone or a pad or a laptop, and mostly it's data that's distracting me from the narrative. But if my favorite shows had data that added to the narrative, I would be there every time. I mean, because we are already divided. It's not a question of, oh, are we now going to divide their attention from the main screen? Their attention's already divided. The question now is, are we going to be able to utilize that division to add to the narrative rather than right now where it just detracts from it?
We know what you're doing, Vivian. We're going to stop.
Do you believe me now?